I want to talk about the case of Mahmoud Khalil, and we're going to play that little clip that his wife made during his arrest. It's quite chilling. It looks like something out of, Stalinist Russia, frankly. So let's watch this clip.
Going to be under arrest. So turn around.
Okay,
Stop
let's
resisting.
not.
Stop resisting.
Okay, he's not resisting. He's giving me his phone. Okay, he's not. I understand. He's not resisting.
Put your arm
Like,
Just don't use for this.
don't worry about it. You're going to have to come with us. Don't worry.
I'm coming with you. Don't worry.
No one's resisting, no one's getting worked up.
you guys really don't need to be doing all of that.
That's it.
It's fine. Maybe it's fine.
حبيبي كيف بدي اتصل فيك؟
Take Amy. Call Amy. She'll be
Okay. Hi, Amy. Yeah, they just like handcuffed him and took him. I don't know what to do. Okay. And what should I do? I don't know. Nor. Let me ask. Can we get a name, please? Of can we get your name? I understand the lawyer is asking for your name.
Go over there. No, we don't give our names.
The lawyer's asking for your name. He's saying they don't give their names.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They'll be taken to immigration custody at 26 Federal Plaza.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
They'll be taken to immigration custody at 26 Federal Plaza.
She said they're taking him to 26 Federal Plaza. Can you please specify what agency is taking him, please? Excuse me. They're not talking to me. I don't know. I don't know. Excuse me. The lawyer would like to speak to somebody. Oh my God, they're literally like running away from me.
Talk about the importance of the Khalil case. I mean, I see it as, I'm sure you do too, extremely ominous.
It's ominous, and for all of us. You know, they're using immigration laws now to come after protesters or people who are voicing views that are critical of the Trump administration, who are not U.S. citizens. They'll come next for us, the U.S. citizens, with the criminal law. So, you know, just watch this. It will roll out in a very similar way for others of us who are not vulnerable to immigration enforcement, but that's what the criminal law will be used for. Mahmoud Khalil, I have known for over a year. I've worked with him here at Columbia. He was basically chosen by the Columbia administration to be the mediator between the student protesters who had an encampment here on our campus and the administration itself, and then later with the police. And Mahmoud had a cool head. He was reasonable. Both sides, or all sides, respected him. He was chosen for a reason to play that role, and Columbia trusted him. They relied on him to communicate back and forth with those protesters. And at some point, he emails me and he says, I've been served with disciplinary charges. And I said, what for? And he said, for Instagram posts that I did not make and an account I have no control over. So I was his advisor in this disciplinary process, and we presented all this information that, you know, whatever you might think about what those posts were, which is a separate issue, he had nothing to do with it. And they would not dismiss the cases. They would not dismiss the case, even though it was quite clear that he had nothing to do with the issue that he was charged with. And in effect, what Columbia did is put a target on his back, because it fed this machine that we have these people here, students at Columbia, who are biased in certain ways and are saying outrageous stuff when the university knows it's not true. So I hold certainly the federal government responsible here for not following the law properly in his detention and abduction. But I hold Columbia responsible as well. They've created this environment through these unreasonable and false charges, and won't dismiss them when they know that they're false.
You mentioned earlier that what happened, or what is happening to Mahmoud Khalil, and we should also mention the reason that the New York judge has received death threats is he's trying to bring him back from Louisiana. He was sent to Louisiana. Most people posit is because It has one of the nation's most conservative appeals court, and will probably play game with the Trump administration. But he was held ostensibly under the McCarran-Walter Threat Act of 1952. This is the Immigration Nationality Act of 1952, which gives the Secretary of State the power to deport foreign nationals, although, of course, he has a green card. He's a legal resident. It was used to go after all sorts of figures, the playwright Arthur Miller, Pablo Neruda, Gabriel Garcia Marquez. It said that's what led both Paul Robeson and W.E.B. Du Bois to have their passports, U.S. passports, revoked. Talk about that act, how it's been used, and what it means.
Well, there is a tragic and well-known history of these kinds of immigration laws being used against Jewish activists in this country. Indeed.
Well, I just want to interrupt. The guy who formulated McCarran was a rabid anti-Semite,
Yeah, exactly.
and passed that law to keep out Jews.
Exactly. So the irony of that is not lost on any of us, that these are laws that are at their core deeply anti-Semitic, that are now being deployed in the name of protecting Jewish citizens or our foreign policy goals with the state of Israel. And that, that's the cynicism of this administration. They don't give a darn that there's that history. They're looking for every piece of power that they can get, every law, no matter how ugly that law may be, even the laws that interned Japanese people during World War II. I'm sure they would be more than happy to use those at some point. So that history is not something that speaks to them. But what the issue with Mahmoud is, he hadn't done anything illegal. He hadn't been charged with anything illegal. He was actually an extremely peaceful and important player in holding our campus together. It's a tough job, but he was playing a very central role in that. And to have them say that it's in our national interest, foreign policy or otherwise, security interest, to remove him without any due process. So the one question is there any substance to the claim that he poses a threat? Secondly, who gets to decide whether he does? Is it just the unilateral authority of the Trump administration and ICE or Homeland Security? Or should there be a judicial proceeding? Come forward with your evidence that there is some threat to national security with Mahmoud remaining in New York City. And so it's that double layer of authoritarian power in this case, of using a law inappropriately and not being willing to actually come forward and go through the judicial process and give him due process, that is so offensive about this case. But just like with Columbia, the point is to send a message. We can do this to you, whether it's destroy Columbia University or destroy this man's life and his wife and his soon-to-be family. And you better stay in line or else we're going to do it to you. And universities around the country are cowering because they're watching what's happening right here on our campus. And I know I've spoken to many other students here at Columbia who are on green cards or visas who are not, they're under house arrest. They will not leave their apartments because there are unmarked vehicles lurking around out on the sidewalk. And the students are terrified. That's the whole point of it.
Well, it's paralysis through fear. That's the totalitarian game book. This could go really bad really soon. Unchecked, where are we headed? What kind of a world is being created for us?
Well, we have lessons. You mentioned them at the top of the segment. We certainly have very salient lessons and examples historically, whether it's in India under the Modi government or in Turkey or Hungary or the Soviet Union or Russia. There are plenty of examples of how this playbook works out. And typically, what slows it down or stops it is institutional actors putting their foot down. Not capitulating and negotiating, but saying no more, right? We will not collaborate in this. And, there becomes a point where, for instance, a university is no longer just negotiating a difficult situation, managing a difficult situation. They actually have agreed to become part of the apparatus or the technology of authoritarianism. And I think Colombia, if it hasn't crossed that line, it's very close by what it is agreed to do. So institutional actors like Colombia have to stand up and say, absolutely not. This violates not only our academic values, but values about democracy. I don't have much hope that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are going to save the day, but Congress should stand up. Republicans should stand up, but certainly the minority party should exercise some power. Republicans were very good at wielding minority power, and the Democrats are showing that they're miserable at it. Well, they should stand up and say, we're not going to agree to these joint resolutions or reconciliation on the budget. There's too much at stake here. And then I think we need to have people out in the street, and that's starting. It's starting to happen. Now that there are faces associated with the harms and the injuries of this exercise of unchecked power. And I feel horrible for Mahmoud Khalil. He's a wonderful, wonderful man, but he has motivated an awful lot of people to take this seriously. And who knows what he knows in detention in Louisiana about what's going on, but he's become a real symbol for the movement, for sure.